happening. Woo! Okay, so
it's a learning process.
Yeah, exactly. That's the curve right there. Okay, so we're recording. I'm going to go ahead and intro the show. When I asked you the question about how to reach your social media, that to me is the end of the show. So, but when I get to, so how do we, follow you, blah, 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 that's my last question. So if there's something I missed, please, say then, like, oh, hey, by the way, I've got a book coming out. Okay, well, let's talk about that real quick. But usually,
I do got a book coming out.
Yeah. That's the end. And
I'm excited.
Pronounced Nadirah?
Nadirah, correct.
Nadirah Bray?
Yes.
Okay.
And I put the R because just the initial kind of branding, so it's just Nadirah R. Bray.
Okay, so you want me to say Nadirah R. Bray?
Yeah, if you can.
No problem.
If you would.
If I'm messing up, I'll just say Nadirah because that's.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, here we go. Hey, what's up, America? This is Ace Micheals. Welcome to the Ace Micheals Show. Thank you so much for being here, joining us, and being a part of the experience. Hey, if you ever want to be on the show, we'd love to have you. All you need to do is send us a message and say, hey, I'd like to be on the show. That way, you can come on as a guest. You can speak your mind, voice your opinions, your comments, ideas, suggestions, prophecies. You know who you are. And I always like to say, if it's on your chest, come be a guest. Share a little kumbaya with us. Today, my guest is Nadirah R. Bray, and she is an entrepreneur. We've been talking for some years now, trying to get her on the show, and so we're very, very blessed to have her on board today. And let's talk to her and find out what's going on in her world. Nadirah, welcome to the Ace Micheals Show.
Thank you so much, Ace, for having me. I know I've been wanting to be on here for a while, and life happens, and then especially, since March, life has really changed and happened, and so it's just an honor and a privilege to be here with you today and your audience. Thank you.
Well, absolutely. Hey, we don't want life to stop happening, so, that's a good thing. If life is happening, keep that going. Whatever you're doing, that works. So there's been a lot of people who have gotten into the entrepreneurial spirit during this last couple of months. I don't really like to talk pandemic on my show too much because we know it's pandemic. We know what happened and we know what's going on. But I don't think that that's entirely the reason that a lot of people have become entrepreneurs. But there has been a great shift. I think a lot of people started saying, well, I'm at home. I do make these widgets. I am getting this unemployment check. Why not turn that into a business and not go back to work? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for those that are getting unemployment, and then also there's the entertainers or the artists that also have a unique unemployment opportunity to take advantage of. It is, you can look at everything in different ways, good and bad. I like to look at things as a gift and an opportunity. So of course we have to go through our process of feeling different ways about change, right? When change happens, we always have feelings that come up, and it's good to acknowledge it and honor that, and then decide where you want to go from it. So it really is, I feel, this gift and opportunity where people might have been, they're so busy working, as an entrepreneur and the business that I do, I have to I have to personally go out and reach people. I don't have a brick and mortar, so they can't come in. So many times I'm going out to reach people. And so, so with the, with the gift and the opportunity of possibly taking a break and having a, possibly a check or just having that break, I think it forces us to make a shift. And also, if we're getting an extra income, if somebody's getting unemployment, it allows them to be able to relax, because many times before, maybe somebody had a dream, but they also have to pay the bills, and they were tired after they worked and they didn't have that time to relax. And now it might give somebody a breather or a time to reflect and think. They were kind of running on the wheel, but think, is this really what I want to do with my life? Is this really what I want to be doing? And so it might give them that opportunity to make a shift.
Yeah, we're going to have to edit.
Okay, yeah.
after everything that we went through this morning, somebody wants to be cutting down a tree right behind the studio window. So right in the middle of what you were saying, I'm starting to hear.
Do you edit? Is that good? You can edit
Yeah,
stuff?
we're not a live show, so we have.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Edit.
And then my husband's doing laundry, and I'm like,
yeah, it's like, I mean, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to bring you in with another lead-in question. So,
all right.
Nadirah, now you're not a newbie to this entrepreneurial stuff. You've actually had businesses before, or you've had another business that you were doing before. So you're kind of already embedded in how to make money on your own, right?
Yeah, I've been an entrepreneur, I'd say, for the past 17 years. I used to lifeguard for a really long time, from like 15 to 30. But in between that, I decided I wanted to have kids. And I thought it would be great to be a stay-at-home mom. But when you're staying at home with a little one by yourself and they don't talk and the fantasy wears off, you're like,
right.
Man, I really want to interact with some adults. And I would like to earn income like I did before and have those choices. You know, income allows us to have those freedom of choice. So I started Tupperware a long time ago. My son's going to be 19, the oldest one. I did that and I was doing well, and life happened. So I switched and just continued lifeguarding. I decided I wanted to do something feminine and fun. I used to work out, used to lifeguard. So I decided that I wanted to do belly dancing. So I looked in the phone book, I found a belly dance teacher. Nice. Started belly dancing. I was doing that for my own personal reasons. And then about after 5 months, my teacher says, okay, everybody has to sign up and they have to dance at the restaurant. I was like, oh no, like I'm just coming to class to connect to my femininity, feel good, try a new form of exercise.
I didn't want to turn it into
then I had 2 kids.
Show. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, I just want to socialize with some other women and have some time away from the children. And then it went into performing. Well, once I started performing, I was asked to perform at other locations and private parties. And so that one snowballed. And that one, I wasn't planning on being an entrepreneur, but because people are asking me and wanting to hire me, then I had to learn how to be an entrepreneur. But then it got addictive because then I could work my my own hours, and the amount of money that you can make, you know, within an hour is a lot different than working a 9 to 5. So I think that when you're in the flow and entrepreneurship and your career and job is going well in that department, it's hard to go back to a 9 to 5.
Yeah. Just
because of that flexibility and that being your own boss and the income you can make.
Absolutely. I want to tell a very quick story, a long story made short, and I get your opinion on this. So I have 2 friends, they're father and son, and they're both in the music business, and they are record producers. So the father has done it for years. He passed the business on to his son, taught his son. His son now owns a studio and blah, blah, blah. Well, times were hard, and the son calls the father one day and says, you know, I'm thinking about taking a job in the warehouse of Staples. And the dad says, why would you do that? And he says, well, because I need to bring money in. I've got kids, you know, I can't just wait on the studio. I've got to make make things happen. So the dad says, well, listen, don't you think you could make the same money that you would make there? Because I mean, they're not going to pay you $100 an hour to work there. They're going to pay you what, $20, $30 an hour at the most. And the son said, yeah.
Maybe
and then
15.
And then they're going to take out taxes. And the son said, yeah. And then you're only going to get what, maybe 30 hours a week. You're not going to get full time. So the dad makes the point that if you were to grab a Yellow Pages and spend 8 hours a day looking for clients for yourself, for your studio business, and you did that 40 hours a week, don't you think you'd make more money than you would working for somebody else 40 hours a week? And I've always used that analogy when I talk to young artists to say to them, if you treat your business like a business, and it's not going to be glamorous, but if you hustled your own business like you go to work faithfully for somebody else's business, you probably would do better at least you'd be happier because everything that comes in would be yours. What are your thoughts on something like that?
I totally agree with that. I now also have a new business that I've started. And so with that, I'm also helping women start their own business. And what I run into as my own personal journey and growth, I've ran into it, and then now I'm able to share that insight with others, is overcoming those fears of reaching out like I was sharing before. I have to call people, right? So it's also a numbers game. You know, the more people you call, you are going to find people that say yes, but you might get a bunch of no's in the beginning. You got to be okay with it. And the other thing is treating it like a business. Many times people think if I write a post or I started this business and I let people know that everybody's going to knock on my door and you want me to keep up?
I told this lady she's interviewing after you. I told her that we would contact her, and she insisted on calling.
Okay.
That's okay. That's why we edit shows, because things happen. Can you pick up from where you're at?
Yeah.
We can edit it.
Mm-hmm. Let me think. Exactly where I was.
You were talking about cold calling and
yeah. So
putting yourself out there.
Right. Yeah.
I can give a leading question. Is it hard to do the cold calling and like reaching out and meeting strangers and introducing your business all the time?
It can be. It can be. It's, I believe, like anything, it's a learned skill. And so with that comes confidence. The more you do something over and over, you become confident. And I think that people forget that everything you do in life, you had to first do it one time, right? Like every new thing, we've done it that first time. And that first time is usually scary, awkward. It's not the greatest, no matter what we're doing in life. So it's getting over that and also acknowledging like, hey, it's my first time. Like, let me be gentle. Why would I think that I'm going to go out and be a pro or be successful this one time? And, you know, I know your show's about entrepreneur and success. And I also share with people, I post a lot about my wins and success because I want to inspire people. But I also post about how long it's taken me and how many calls I've had to do. And just because I'm posting this one win, you don't know all of the, not fails, but non-wins, right? Or all the time and effort that it's taken to get a win. So it really is just actions, consistent action, picking up the momentum, and you're going to get where you want to go, but you do got to put in the hours. And I think as a creative person, an artist, a person that loves to spend time with people, like I love to be in the moment, interacting with them in my jobs that I do. The calling and all of that is not, I don't know, you know, the business part is not as fun as me being there, but I'm not going to get to do the fun thing until I do the work or hire somebody to do the work. But I think another thing is like, as the entrepreneur, learn how to do the work first, because then you know how to do it. You might hire somebody, and what if that person is sick or they can't make it or they quit or whatever? It's like, I think the entrepreneur, although all the jobs that we do aren't necessarily fun and the ones we want to do, it's important to know them all, because it is, at the end of the day, our own business, and we're the ones writing our own paycheck. So we're the ones that have to be responsible for it.
Yeah, and it's a good point that you bring up. You know, we're doing a thing right now. We're going through women's empowerment is the theme of this week's shows and all the interviews. And we have to remember that it wasn't very long ago that there was a thing we considered a woman's job. And I don't hear that so much now, but growing up, we used to always hear about, well, that's a woman's job. You know, woman's job would be to be a nurse, not a doctor. Why would you be a doctor? You're a woman. You can't be a doctor. You can be a nurse. You know, you can't be a firefighter. You're a woman. That's a woman's job. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that as far as, you know, has the world changed? Is there still a glass ceiling for women, even women entrepreneurs? I want to say that, you know, Beyonce, who's a great female artist, says that no matter what, a woman doing the same job as a man will never make the same money. And she's Beyonce. So I can't imagine who would be doing an equal level job as her, But
Mhm.
she says if there was a male counterpart to her, he would make more money than her. What are your thoughts?
Mm. Yeah, that's a debate that I always have with my children. I have 3 sons and I have my husband. I'm the only one here like talking about women empowerment, and so we have these deep discussions on that. The first question was, gosh, what was your first
Well,
question?
really the glass ceiling. Like, we could say
Oh yeah,
years ago there were only women's
yeah,
jobs, and there was definitely a ceiling. Women could only go so
yeah,
far.
yeah.
Watch
Well,
an
the
episode of
interest,
Mad Men, and you'll see what I mean. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. The interesting thing is, I was raised by my dad and my grandma. My grandma just turned 97.
Oh wow.
Before she got married, she worked as the telephone operator, putting in the plugs at Pacific Bell. And then she, started her family. My grandpa was in the military, and so she was a homemaker. So growing up, she was still a homemaker. I was raised with her and my father. And I remember being at the dinner table and having these talks even as a little girl. And my dad, because at that time, like you said, there was teachers, secretaries, and nurses.
Right.
And there's a whole history people can look up on how that was built. And there was like 3 jobs for women
Yeah.
besides homemaker. So he would say, oh, maybe you want to be a nurse, or we would have these debates. And my whole family was in the military. So all the men, and I thought, well, I could be in the military. Like I could, and my dad at that time in the 80s, right? He's like, no, women aren't in the military and you can't do that. And I'm like, I can do that job just as much as they can. And he would keep telling me about what a man can do and what a woman could do. And that's just coming from his belief. It's not right or wrong. It's just everybody has their own belief system, but I would always battle it, I think because I grew up with my dad. So I was very much a girl, but then also a tomboy. And because I grew up with him, I wanted to make him proud and I wanted to excel. And we always did sports together. So it's like, I wanted maybe in the back of my mind, like to be as good as a guy, right? So I played on the men's water polo team. There wasn't a girls' water polo team. So I joined the men's water polo team. I was the first woman lifeguard at our beach.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to be as good or better than men. Yes, there is a difference, right? There's a difference in our physicality and everything like that. But when you really push yourself, it's like you can achieve whatever you want to achieve, even if it's a man's job, I believe. And that opportunities are now more open than ever for women to go into a field that they want to go into, and vice versa, a man to go into a field that maybe was more predominantly for women. We have that opportunity. Right now I'm with Mary Kay, and I'm really excited because she built it, 56 years ago, a company that's still going strong, always being innovative, going with the change of times. Like we were always face to face, but now since we have to be virtual, all the training, everything is switched up, just pivoting to make that, successful for women to do everything online. The other great thing is she didn't believe in glass ceilings, and she wanted an opportunity for a woman to work from home and make an executive income. And so I love that for myself, and I want that for other women. I think, I was on a call yesterday and we were talking about women, but especially women of color, and the less opportunities that we have or we think we have. I think a lot is that we think we don't have it. And I'd like to empower all women to know, no matter what, we can all rise above and have our own successful business and make the money that we want to make, not depending on what somebody else thinks that our skill level is. We're all capable of learning new skills, and we're all capable of running our own businesses. And the other great thing about now and Mary Kay is, and I share this with my kids, we talk about men working and women. And I said, but innately, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I feel as a woman, we're part of our nature is nurture. And so it's very hard to just go to work and not want to be at the child's function, not go pick them up from school, not stay home when they're sick, not get home to cook them the right dinner, not give, it's like, that's a problem that's happening now too, because I that's just kind of what I feel is that it's maybe men have more of those kind of jobs and make more money, like we were sharing, because they can go to work all the time. But women want that, I feel, want that balance. They want to be able to make good money, but they also, if they have children, want to be there. And if they don't have children, you know, maybe they want the flexibility or be there for their family. And then as women grow older, many times they're the caregivers. So now I know many women not taking care of their children, but they're taking care of their parents.
Yeah, I think it's truly interesting that when you look at our ancient civilizations or well, I guess you wouldn't say prehistoric because we don't know what happened prehistorically, but ancient civilizations, you know, we had women in positions of power. Women were leaders. We had Cleopatra, we had Pocahontas, we had Queen Elizabeth. You know, what happened? We were fine with women running our countries. You know what I'm saying? We had female warriors. We had women going to battle right with men, hand in hand, neck and neck, if that's what it took to save the tribe. And then now we got into this double standard where we're like, oh, no, women have to be at home, women have to be soft, demure. What happened? What do you think happened to us? Why did we decide that women weren't good enough to do the jobs that they were doing?
Right. Well, again, that's in some great books that we can all look up. There's one that I have. It's a really small book. It's called, I think it's Witches, Midwives, and something else. But it was kind of this shift of taking away that power from women, right? And then maybe that's 16th, 17th, 18th century, all different times. But you can see in psychology and in the job opportunities in college, like even in that book, it was sharing that college was created, but women couldn't be a doctor and women couldn't go to college. You know, and it wasn't too long ago that women couldn't even have their own checkbook and that we got the right to vote, you know? So it's
right.
And it's interesting because you're like, well, who came up with these rules that took away all that power, which we know, and we can research, but
well, it wasn't that long ago that women couldn't legally divorce their men.
Right.
You know, it was against the law for you to leave your husband.
Yeah, or have rights to the kids. And so the kids and the wife, because of the last name, were the property of the husband. And then the woman could leave, but then even after that, it's like the kids were still the property of the husband. And so, and the land, like real estate, I think my friend was sharing, it might have changed now, but I know recently she was saying like 1% of women own real estate.
Right.
You know, so it's, we didn't have, I guess, the leverage or the rights. And as a woman, some women do get up and they leave depending on what their situations are, but connected to their heart and nurture, it's like a lot of times you stay for your kids. It's told over and over, you know, staying for the children.
Yeah, it's true. There's a funny scene in the movie Forrest Gump. It's played as funny, where the teacher, he's a principal, I guess, and he asks Forrest's mother, played by Sally Field, "Where's Mr. Gump? You know, why is there a Mr. Gump? Like, why are you here without, you know, that support of a man? Oh, you don't have the support of a man." And this was commonplace. You know, I grew up in the 80s, and it was very unconventional for a woman to be raising a family without a man. But I probably digress. I just wanted to touch base on that, but you had some keen insight, really good information. Back to you now. You have written a book and you have launched this new business. How do we support that? What do we expect next from you?
Gosh, thank you. I just finished sending all of my copies to one editor. I have 2 books coming out. So one's going to come out in August. We're hoping the second one will come out in August. I have 2 different editors for each one. One is about an entrepreneurial journey. The other one is about my story of achieving goals after stage 4 cancer. And yeah, and all these goals that I had written after or before, like the night before the diagnosis, which I feel rolls into entrepreneurship. Earlier, I was thinking about it. It doesn't matter if it's a health scare or a scare of being an entrepreneur and starting your own business. What I found is to keep going. right? Every step to keep going towards your goal, because you don't know what's happening at the end. You can set your intention and then keep going for that. So, you know, just really quick, I was going through major surgery, and then, can we hang on one sec, because they're backing me?
Sure.
Give me 1 second. Okay, all right, I'm back. All right.
Okay, no worries at all.
Yeah.
I've got time for probably 2 more questions. So,
Okay, so let's
stage 4 cancer.
we'll forget that one. Yeah.
No, I want to know that. I just wanted you. Okay. Yeah, please.
Oh yeah. So, so diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and I set an intention and a goal, of course, for healing, to be healed and cancer-free, which I have been for the past 10 years now. So that's remarkable, and I keep that. Yeah, I keep that intention for, you know, perfect health, and so with that, with entrepreneurship, I was sharing, is to set the intention and to keep going towards it. You know, so it's like life may throw things at you. Like I wrote all these goals the night before, and then life threw me a curveball. And when that happens, you could be like, oh, I'm giving up on all my dreams. Oh, I can't do what I wanted to do. Or you can say, okay, how can this be a gift and an opportunity? And that's what I feel is like, I wrote these things to empower women, and I rebuilt myself, and I rebuilt myself through dance. And so that's been my, that was my first thing, is my business is helping people heal and transform through the ancient art of belly dance combined with holistic health. That one's taking a little back seat right now because I'm not able to go in and teach. But yeah.
I was going to ask you how.
Ask a new question.
I was going to ask you how a person, you know, wakes up and walks away from something like cancer. Those are big deals. But I think you kind of answered it. I think you have to go towards your intention, and I agree with that. Although that may be hard to fathom in the moment, I think that that's the only way you can really keep yourself moving forward. The last question I'm going to have time for is actually tied into that same thought process, which is, for you, Nadirah, what do you think has made you the most successful? Would you accredit it to your faith, your luck, your being in the right place at the right time, as they say? Like, what has made you consistently successful?
So what has made me consistently successful is putting God first. For me, having that faith, that belief, something higher than myself, to give me that strength. The other one is a lot of work and self-development on myself. If anything comes up, working on mindset to shift it, working on energy to change my thought and my energy about it. And the other one is consistency. I believe that one's key. It's like, you know what you want, and consistently take action towards it. No matter what life happens to us, but still keep your eye on what you want. And the other thing is, find out why you want it. For me, I know that it's on my heart to share self-care with women, to enrich women's lives, to empower women. That's on my heart, and that's never going to change. I don't believe, no matter what I'm doing, that's always the focus. And so I believe that if something was laid on our heart, that it was laid on there for a reason. We all came here to share our unique gifts and talents and create something. I believe that we each came here to create something that's never been created before. And if we just go along with the way the world is going and not listen to our intuition, then we're just going to keep repeating the things that have been, or nothing's going to change. So it's important for us to listen to our intuition and follow our heart where it leads, and life is going to happen, but we stay strong enough to keep the course and keep going to what we feel we need to create and bring forth into the world to leave a legacy, to make a positive change in the world.
You know what? I can't close the show on a stronger note than that. That is profound words that were said right there. Life-changing words. How do we stalk you on social media? If we want to follow you, we want to sleep in the bushes out in front of your house, what do we need to do next?
Oh, geez. Okay. So everything is Goddess in Motion. That's my brand. It's a lotus flower of different shades of pink women coming out of this lotus flower. So that's on every social media of mine. So it's easy, just type in Goddess in Motion, and every social media I have you'll be able to see it. It will pop up. And yeah, thank you so much for having me and having me be able to share. And I hope that my hope always is that at least one thing has changed somebody's life or touched somebody's life. If I can at least inspire or motivate one person, then I feel that I'm successful.
Hey, all I can say is it was a big pleasure having you, and it was well worth the wait. I'm going to be a God in motion now and close the show because we run out of time. It's the Ace Micheals Show. Make sure you support Nadirah R. Bray and everything that she's doing. If you ever want to be on the show, do that. You know what I say at the end of every show, man? I still mean it. Every single time I say this, it hits my heart, and I mean it. Live the life you love. Love the life you live. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay, we did a show.
Yay!
That was